Ça, c'est mieux comme ça? Voilà.
I like it, I like it.
You like it, you like it. Alors, je me stabilise, comme ça, c'est mieux.
Voilà, t'es belle.
C'est comment la lumière, là?
Parfait.
C'est toi la modèle.
Parfait, tu pourrais nous faire une leçon, là. Parfait, parfait.
Mais je l'ai fait tellement, c'est pas toi aussi, hein? Tu dois bien faire énormément de calls.
J'en ai marre. Ok, on va faire en anglais.
Allez, j'enlève la bouteille d'abord. Hop, hop, ça va.
Bah, je vais le faire court, hein, comme ça va être sympa.
Ça va, super. Ok.
Hi, Caterina, how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. Very well. What about you?
Nice to meet you. We've known each other for many, many years.
So many.
So how are you?
Everything is fine. Very, very hectic. This post-pandemic world and this new normal that is drafting has been accelerating the sustainability lightening. And I'm very, very happy to be part of the process.
Yeah, so for the ones who don't know, Caterina is a sustainability advisor for Alaia, Chloe, Trussardi, for the UN, advisor also on the board for B Corporation, right?
Yes.
And Fair Trade?
Indeed.
Indeed. So you kind of, I guess, the specialist of sustainability right now.
Well, kind of, yes. Although it's such a huge and vast subject that I don't think anybody can have an in-depth view on all the aspects that entitle sustainability, to be honest. But at least for when it comes to social compliance and social sustainabilities, I've had over 20 years of experience in that field.
And I think the first question I have is for someone who doesn't understand, like we hear this word so much, what does it mean, sustainability? What is it exactly?
You're totally right, Kenza. There is a very big confusion around the world. We hear it over and over again. It's kind of misused. It's definitely a misused word right now, if you ask me. It entitles, as I just said, many, many issues. To make it brief, there are three main big components when it comes to sustainability. The first part, the one that nowadays has a lot of attention, thanks also to the big role played by Greta, and it is called the Greta effect, is certainly the environmental sustainability. So everything is concerned with the well-being of our planet, with the climate change, includes in the biggest component of environmental sustainability. The second one is the social sustainability. So the planet is our concern, but the people, our human race that inhabit the planet, has to be also our concern. So everything that entitles the human rights issue connected to the production of every object that we use in our life, clothes, drinks, or anything connected to any kind of services we use, is related to human beings. There are hands behind everything we use in our life, and those hands and the well-being of those hands are part of the social sustainability. Then there is the third part, the governance, the economic sustainability. And basically, let's say that I have my beautiful water bottle that is made of sustainable material, so it's in line with environmental sustainability. I am assured that there is no child labor involved. Okay, so that means social sustainability is also assured. The economic sustainability of the governance is also the insurance that we need to have that bottle that we reuse, that bottle has done without corrupting any government official, without breaking any law, and in respect of all the rules and regulations that are in the countries of production and in the country of usage of that bottles. Sorry, I hope I've been clear enough. Just to make the summary, environmental, social, and governance. These are the three main components that we have to take into consideration when it comes to sustainability. It's a big topic. So, yes.
And I think,
The
I mean,
most
the first thing that comes into my mind is like probably like the lack of transparency, right? How to kind of like understand, like, you know, like as a consumer, where to know who is doing well in who is doing well and what. Like as a consumer, how can we get our information if we know, like, without diving too deep, because we can't, like, not everything we consume and
right,
buy,
right,
we
right.
would know. So what is as a consumer, what can we do?
First of all, if you like a brand, when it comes to fashion, okay, let's talk about fashion, which is the industry I feel more comfortable to talk about. There are nowadays some independent organizations that check the sustainability of the brand you like the most. And they check all the aspects that I just listed to you. One of the one I like the most, and the one that for me is most reliable, is called Good On You. So if you don't want to do research for yourself, just type into goodonyou.eco, and then you will find that they have done the job for you. They have scored, according to the three main components I just listed to you, each and every, I say, over 300 of the most famous fashion brands. So indeed, it is difficult for any consumer to know, but nowadays it is possible if we know where to go to ask the right questions. Second point, Kenta, if you don't want to rely on other research, start asking questions to your own brands. Go to their website, check if they have, in a transparent way, information about who made their products, where, under which conditions, and what are they doing to make sure that their impact on people and planet is not just not negative, but it's positive. Ask questions.
And so exactly, I think, again, the question of transparency, like, exactly, me, for example, our small brand, we're a small brand. How can we, like, give people that, like, new consumer and everything, like, we can't afford at our stage, like, to become a big corporate and everything we want, but we can't afford it. So how can we we really try to have the ethical part and the sustainable part. How can we assure our consumers that we are, like, what is, like, the right way for you, for smaller brand, like maybe not the bigger 300 brands, but smaller brands, to kind of showcase their transparency or their efforts?
You're already doing it, Kenta. You are telling, I'm one of your followers. I follow what OSAY the label is doing. You're telling the stories of the product, and you're telling the stories of the people behind the product. That's what transparency is all about. It's about opening up who made them, your beautiful shoes, which I love, by the way, under which condition, again, and possibly how much it was paid. Was it in a fair way and treated the provider? So what you can do, even if you are not a big company, is to showcase your artisans.
That's possible.
Exactly. Nowadays, you don't need to spend so much money. You have a camera, you have a beautiful, everybody has an iPhone in Tunisia, where we both work. Everybody has a smartphone. Record their story, let them speak for you. Make sure that your consumer is connected to the makers. One of the most important issues of transparency is to shorten the distance between the final consumer and the makers, and possibly also between the provider of raw materials. That's another stage.
It's so true. It's so true. I think like the cyclical part is, like, for us at least, it was like one of the reasons why we started the brand, like to kind of put the maker, in part of the conversation, especially
exactly
of the supply.
Totally.
We talk about the design, we talk about it, but we don't talk about actually the people who actually make the product. I think
exactly. But what you're doing, Kenza, is beyond transparency. You are also assuring traceability.
Yeah.
And so the two combined make you accountable, and that's the third side. Transparency, accountability, and traceability. This is what you're already doing by telling the story of your artisans, of your workers, of the makers.
And so what, how do you see it going? Do you see like, you know, like people having a stronger interest? Like, do you feel like brands starting to
Yes.
kind of put in more emphasis? Do you think like we are on the right direction? Or because like in the meantime, we have the feeling we're on the right direction and there is kind of a conscious, like a collective conscious. But in the meantime, you hear the story of the Igor and, you know, the camp and which or what brand are part of this and how us as consumer, you know, like should stand for the right thing. So how do you think we should navigate that?
Look, there is that COVID has accelerated an ongoing process. I like to say that, like the millennium were digital native, this new generation, Generation Z, is sustainability native. Kenza, this new generation gives for granted that the whatever you produce does not have to harm any human beings or the planet. So, and COVID made just realize that those big brands that if they don't do it, they lose clients because the revolution is starting from bottom up. The customers is getting more aware, and the reason why those companies will have to comply is that otherwise they will lose market. So they're all in a hurry to make sure that they don't just go for profit, but also for the purpose. And if I see the big corp movement right now, the big corp movement has had an increase of requests from big corporation to be certified that is 300 times higher than the 10 years ago. Can you imagine?
That's yeah. That's
But
awesome.
they're not doing it because they are good. They're becoming good all of a sudden. Let's be honest. They understood that there is a market. So we as consumer have an incredible power. Please, please remember that every time you buy a product, you cast a vote for the future that you want. And buying for small, independent, and sustainable brand like yours is essential. It's almost an act of rebellion, you know? It's a way to say, you know, I prefer to support my local artisans and a transparent, sincere, honest brand that is bringing me a product that is authentic rather than just going to mass product.
I think it's amazing. I think what's important is like to kind of make sure that, you know, like luxurious brand do that, but also people things that are a little bit more affordable. And I think that, you know, for the longest time, sustainability seemed to be kind of, you know, like exclusive to a certain kind of, you know, like socioeconomics. And I feel it's slowly changing. And I hope
Yes.
I'm right. I don't know. Yeah, right.
You are. I mean, there are brands like, you know, think about Patagonia and the way it revolutionized the approach to consumerism. One of the biggest campaign that has made history was when Patagonia just advertised a jacket, and they wrote under the jacket, "Don't buy this jacket."
I remember.
They said, "Don't buy it," because what they meant is like, if you don't need it, just don't do it. But if you do it, that treat it with great respect. One very important thing that I would like to advise to the people that are hopefully listening to us, please remember that it doesn't matter how much you pay for that garment, even if it is H&M, even if it's Zara, do not treat it any different from your Louis Vuitton bag, because the price does not matter. What it matters is that there have been time, resources, human being behind that product, that they need respect. So reuse as much as possible, amend, repair, exchange, swap what you have in your wardrobe. And then when you buy one thing, not matter how much, again, you spend for it, cherish it.
I mean, I think, you know, I think we're going to end up on this because I think that was one of the most powerful advice on sustainability and, you know, being ethical as a human being, you know, like cherish everything on the same level, you know?
Everything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have your Chanel bag in the wardrobe into this wonderful, great, and then use every day and you know, just, or forget, even worse, forget in the wardrobe your Zara bag just because you spend €40 for it. No, treat it the same. They do deserve the same respect.
Exactly. I love that. All right. Thank you.
Very
You are
welcome.
amazing. You are so inspiring. I think this message should go across like everywhere, because I think, you know, there is no choice but to be sustainable. And, you know,
Exactly.
agents like you
Buy
are.
less, you know, Vivian Westwood said, buy less, buy better, make it last. But not just if it is a Vivian Westwood 3,000 euro bag. That's like my other message.
I love that. All right. Okay. Thank you,
Take
Caterina.
care. Bye.
Bye.